The story you're about to hear is one of those you can't make this up type of HOA disasters. Imagine living in a neighborhood where common sense takes a back seat and self appointed tyrants think the world revolves around their little plastic badge of power. Yeah, that's where I live. Welcome to HOA Karen Chronicles. Comment which country you're watching from. Let's see how far this story goes. I live in an HOA regulated community where senseless laws are the norm. With a Karen as our president, things were as bad as you'd expect. But this time, Karen had crossed a line so ridiculous, it could have been straight out of a sitcom. One evening, I pulled into my driveway after a long day at work. My eyes immediately narrowed at the sight of a sleek black Audi sitting smugly inside my garage. At first, I thought I was losing it. Did I park a stranger's car in my own home? I circled around and froze when I saw the HOA president's initials stamped boldly on a tag hanging from the rearview mirror. Allison, the infamous Karen herself. I stormed over to her house, rang the bell, and waited. She opened the door with the fake smile of a queen greeting her peasants. Yes? She asked sweetly, though her eyes screamed condescension. I pointed toward my garage. Why is your car in there? She barely flinched. Oh, I needed the space. I just bought another car. Yours was available. I blinked in disbelief. Available? That's my garage. She shrugged, straightened her shoulders, and declared, I'm the HOA president. I even cloned your garage remote. And by the way, under the HOA code, I have the right to access any resident's garage whenever necessary. That includes yours. At that moment, calling the police seemed too easy. I wanted something better, something legendary. And trust me, I was already cooking up a plan that would make her wish she'd never even looked in my direction. The nerve of this woman was beyond comprehension. After that absurd encounter, I went back home, pacing like a man who had just been told gravity was optional. She actually said she had the right to everyone's garage because she drafted some HOA code out of thin air. It wasn't just arrogance, it was delusion wearing a power suit. Neighbors soon caught wind of the situation, and oh boy, the gossip spread faster than wildfire in dry season. Old Mr. Peters from 2 houses down muttered, she tried telling me I can't hang laundry in my backyard because it ruined the neighborhood aesthetic, but stealing garages, that's a new low. People laughed. People whispered, but not one soul dared confront her directly. Why? Because Karen thrived on intimidation. She loved wielding that HOA badge like it was Thor's hammer. Meanwhile, every time I walked into my driveway, there sat her smug Audi like it paid rent. At one point, I even caught her stepping out of my garage in heels, sipping a latte, waving at me like I was trespassing on her property. Morning, neighbor, she chirped. My fists clenched so tight I thought I might snap my car keys in half, but instead of exploding, I smiled. A slow, calculated smile that probably unsettled her more than yelling would have. Inside my head, gears were turning. I knew going toe-to-toe with her in a shouting match was like wrestling with a pig. You both get dirty, but the pig enjoys it. No, this demanded something colder, smarter, and far more humiliating. So I played along. For the next 2 days, I pretended like nothing was wrong, let her strut in and out of my garage, acting like she owned the block. What she didn't know was that behind the scenes, something much bigger was brewing. Let's just say my plan didn't involve garage remotes. It involved technology she couldn't touch. If you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to like and subscribe. By day 3, I had already called in a few favors from friends who knew their way around high-level security systems. One of them, a genius with wires and codes, grinned when I told him the situation. So basically, you want to trap a Karen in her own arrogance? He asked. I nodded. Exactly. And I want it done so smooth she won't even notice until it's too late. The upgrades began quietly. At night, while Karen snoozed under her silk sheets, contractors worked in silence around my garage. New biometric locks were installed, cameras wired into hidden corners, and motion sensors carefully placed. The old system she had cloned was dismantled like a bad magic trick. By the time the sun rose, my garage looked the same on the outside, but inside it was Fort Knox with Wi-Fi. All the while, I pretended everything was normal. She waved, she smirked, she even had the audacity to complain one morning. Your garage floor is dusty. You should get that cleaned. It lowers neighborhood standards. I bit my tongue so hard I almost tasted blood, but inside I laughed. Let her enjoy these last moments of blissful ignorance. When the system was finally ready, I made sure she didn't suspect a thing. I even held open my driveway gate once, like some kind of butler. She beamed, thinking she had completely dominated me. Oh, but the fun part was yet to come, because the very next day, I left for Spain. Bags packed, locks sealed, phone number blocked. My neighbors waved me goodbye, some chuckling because they knew something she didn't. Karen strutted around, smug as ever, completely oblivious that her free parking empire was about to collapse in the most humiliating way possible. Would she survive it? Barely. Would she regret crossing me? Absolutely. 3 months later, I flew back from Spain, refreshed, tanned, and already grinning at the storm waiting for me. The moment my cab pulled up to the house, I spotted Karen pacing in her yard like a cartoon villain whose plan had gone horribly wrong. The second she saw me, she bolted over, shrieking at the top of her lungs like I owed her rent. "Where have you been? Do you know how many times I tried to call you?" she screeched, her face red enough to match a stop sign. I calmly rolled my suitcase past her, unlocked my door, and let her rant. She wailed about how her Audi had been locked inside my garage for weeks, how she had every right to be there, and how the biometric locks were a violation of her sacred HOA power. I didn't say a word. Instead, I pulled out a crisp, official looking envelope. Her eyes narrowed as I handed it over. "What's this?" she barked, tearing it open. The color drained from her face as she read the bold letters: charges of unlawful entry, property tampering, and criminal trespass. My buddy at the state police had made sure every citation was airtight, complete with references to state codes like Verkehrscode 18.2-119, trespass after having been forbidden, and Trif 18.2-147, tampering with a vehicle or jaw dropped. This isn't real," she stammered. I raised an eyebrow. "Oh, it's very real. And since you admitted to cloning my remote and using a fake HOA code, you basically signed your own confession." The neighbors, who had gathered like an eager audience at a circus, burst into laughter. Someone even shouted, "Guess the queen just lost her crown." Cameras flashed, phones recorded, and Karen's empire crumbled right there on my driveway. The fines were brutal, the humiliation worse, and the cherry on top, a unanimous HOA vote removed her from office within the week. She went from strutting peacock to neighborhood pariah overnight, all because she couldn't resist parking in someone else's garage. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Have you had a similar encounter with a Karen HOA or anyone in the HOA board? Let us know in the comments.